time for a look at your West Tennessee forecast with meteorologist Brian Davis.
Welcome in, everyone, on this Saturday evening. Extreme heat. It's going to continue through tomorrow. That'll be the grand finale. And then we are seeing an end in sight to the heat wave. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the tropics. 40% chance of development out there. If this does develop, it'll be coming towards the dogleg of Florida, Cuba, those areas. We'll keep a close watch right now. We're in the peak of tropical season. Not a whole lot happening, but this is the first development that we've seen in a while. I'm thinking this is probably going to be one of those tropical seasons where it's going to stay quiet. Then towards the edge, towards the end of tropical season, things are going to try to ramp up here. Well, I certainly hope not, but either way, we could use some rain. An indirect hit would bring us back up to where we need to be, and it would take a system like this to really do that. We're over 7 inches in a deficit right now. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some heat safety tips. Remember, we are in an extreme heat warning. That means dangerous heat is already happening. Avoid heavy activity, direct sunlight. Stay hydrated. Find a cool place indoors. Check on the children, elderly, and the pets and so forth. And tell you what, don't forget about the pets either. We hear of that too. Dogs, especially inside pets, they are not used to the heat, so you got to be careful letting them out and just kind of watch. Even when they go outside, watch, make sure they come back in, make sure that water bowl is full there for them. And of course, most importantly, the pregnant, newborns, children, elderly, and people with chronic illnesses. Don't forget to keep up with them too, because they're the most vulnerable in this heat. Now, if you've been out any time at all today, I have. It is, especially when the cloud moves out of the way of the sun, it is very hot out there. Taking a look at our area temperatures, 99 right now in downtown Memphis. A lot of cars out. You think about, like if the motor goes out, you're stranded, keep some extra bottled water. This is the time to prepare, because you could really overheat quickly if you get stranded on the side of the road. So make sure you've got some extra things there to help keep you cool in the event that happens. So we're lots of upper 90s across the area. It's a pretty day, but it is extremely hot out there as temperatures continue to blaze hot. Here's our heat, or our feels like temperatures. You can see a lot of 106, 105s, a lot of well over 100s out there today. It feels like 106 in Savannah and Selmer. Feels like 107 right now in Covington, to 106 in Union City and Dresden. But it's hot out there anywhere. Trenton right now feels like 108 degrees. And yes, we do have a little bit of wind blowing out there, but once it gets this hot and the dew points are this high, that doesn't really help, because you're not evaporating any water. The sweat doesn't evaporate, and that's what actually cools you. And it's so humid out there already. The air is saying, nope, we're not taking any more evaporation of moisture. We're full. And that's what happens, and you wind up overheating a lot quicker in this type of scenario. So let's go ahead and take a look at our radar. Radar has not been offering any help either. It's very unrain abundant right now. All I see is lots of high temperatures. All the rain is well up there to the north around this ridge of high pressure, which is just about centered right over our neck of the woods here. All right, but we are seeing an end to the heat wave, and you'll start to see the hints of it right here on the in-motion surface. So here's tonight. Watch that cold front there to the north and that low pressure getting closer by in the morning, and then by tomorrow evening. That's why we'll have the severe weather outlook right down to the Kentucky line, because that cooler air is going to start to get closer for us. And so for the rest of this evening, you can see the severe weather outlook, 1 out of 5 to 2 out of 5. It's all to the north of us. But watch tomorrow, it dives a little bit closer down into Kentucky. Let's zoom in on this. That'll take it right down to the Tennessee-Kentucky line. So probably going to see a couple of little storms up there. We could see just north of Union City, just north of Paris, or perhaps brushing through Union City or Paris. But any of that will be very short-lived. So not really much hope there for any major cool downs tomorrow. But let's take a look at Futurecast, and this will tell a better story for us. Now, it doesn't look like much here. You'll see a few storms across Kentucky tomorrow. So here's tomorrow afternoon. Here we are about 7 p.m., a few little showers and storms just north of us. So that frontal boundary is getting nearby. But what we're going to do, we're going to skip ahead into Wednesday because nothing's really showing up here. Very limited. But watch what happens into Wednesday. Here we are Wednesday evening. Look at that. More organized areas of rain. This is when the ridge of high pressure will start to break down. That's going to allow the rain chances to start to go up. And as a result, the cooler air will be, flowing into the West Tennessee area. And that is going to end this extreme heat. And I'm thinking about Wednesday, but definitely Thursday, we're going to start to notice a difference in these extremely hot temperatures. So hang in there. We're finally seeing an ending to all of this coming up late week. And it includes some much better rain chances for us too by around Thursday and Friday of this week. All right, look at the rest of our evening. We're going to be dropping down only to the mid-70s at best, so it'll still be another warm, humid morning to start off tomorrow. About 75 degrees at 6 a.m., and then we'll be back into the mid-80s by 9 a.m. And so, just try to stay indoors if you and don't go out unless you just have to. Now, it'll be a little bit better into Monday. Here's the bus stop forecast. It'll be humid, close to 80 in the morning, but look at the afternoon as that cooler air is going to get close enough that we'll see a little bit of the effects there and shave off a few degrees or so. Let's go ahead and take a look at our model blend of highs. It shows our grand finale taking place tomorrow, but notice we're going the right way. It starts to drop off considerably to the low 90s by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. All right, looking at our 7-day forecast, so we've got one more really dangerous day to go through. This will be the extreme heat warning. It goes all the way until tomorrow, Sunday night at 8 o'clock. It'll probably be replaced by the lesser or the heat advisory for Monday, and then hopefully we'll lose the heat advisory there for Tuesday. But you can see we'll be about 95, 96 there for the high on Monday. Little dip in temperatures as that first little frontal boundary gets close to us on Sunday. We'll feel a little bit of that flowing in on Tuesday, but then rebounds back to the upper 90s on Wednesday. Notice those rain chances, though. So that's going to be an actual real cold front that looks like it's going to try to move through West Tennessee and stall out there around North Mississippi, North Alabama. And while that can be a bad thing for flooding, it could be a good thing to help cool our area down. So you can see dropping to about 93 for the high on Thursday, about 91 on Friday, and we've got some fairly healthy chances, 20%, not so much on Wednesday evening, but Thursday afternoon and evening, Friday into Saturday, we're at least starting to get those chances back up there to around 30%. All right, guys, have a safe rest of your evening. Try to stay cool. Don't be out unless you just have to. It is I've already been out there. It is a tough go, especially I think about the people that have chronic illnesses or the people that are, they work a job. They're basically, because their job involves being inside in the air conditioning. So naturally they get accustomed to the air conditioning. And then you walk out on a day like today, it'll get you in a hurry. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks as always for trusting and watching West Tennessee Weather Channel.
We are West Tennessee Weather Channel.